Welcome back, everybody. This is the NS-29 mission, our 14th flight for a payload flight on the Shepard program today. As you can see, we are in an extended hold here. We are waiting for a good weather open. As you can see, there's a lot of cloud cover going on in Texas. We want to make sure that the conditions for the weather are just right for flight today. I know personally, I am looking forward to seeing whatever we might be able to see from the camera views on the ground of the lunar G-spin technique that we're going to do today. So, I mean, definitely we want to see clear skies if it's possible. But as you can see, it's a lot of cloud cover. We're just assessing the conditions right now with the weather before we decide to fly. So bear with us. We're going to keep waiting for this hold as the team looks for a good opening today. All right, welcome back, everybody. As you can see, we've been in 30 minutes of hold almost here as we are assessing the weather conditions for today's launch. We want to make sure we're flying with just the right conditions. So the team is looking at that information. It sounds like they're not loving what they're seeing so far, but we are going to keep standing by to see if we can find a good window for this flight to be able to lift off today and have a successful flight to space. So stand by with us. We're going to keep viewing these great live views of our rocket getting ready on the pad today. We'll be with you. Welcome back, everybody. We are still wading through this hold as our team assesses weather conditions for today's launch. And, you know, on the topic of weather, we have a team that is, you know, very faithfully working in the background, assessing weather conditions, and there's a lot that goes into making weather decisions for New Shepard. New Shepard, of course, like is unique in a lot of ways for a spaceflight program. One of those ways that it's unique is that the entire mission profile happens right here on Launch Site 1 in Texas. From launch to landing of both the booster and the separated capsule, they all land right here. So it's really important that the team is able to kind of assess all the continuous weather conditions right here in Texas for the launch. So why don't we take a look at what goes into making some of these weather calls for New Shepard.
On a launch day, we give several go, no-go recommendations based on how the forecasts evolve throughout the morning. You have subject matter experts in every subsystem sitting in front of their consoles, intently monitoring everything going on to make sure that the astronauts are launched safely. My name is Andrew Kellenbeck. I'm a guidance, navigation, and control engineer.
My name is Sean Hansen. I'm the launch weather officer for New Shepard. If you're looking for sunny conditions and lack of precipitation, West Texas is one of the best places in the United States that we can have. But we want to verify the weather at the time we have a phase in the launch. So we'll send a balloon up. Weather balloon is one of the best meteorological tools that we have. It provides us instantaneous data of what's going on in the atmosphere all the way up to 80,000 feet.
The guidance and control team on New Shepard has decades worth of atmospheric and wind forecasting data that we've collected ourselves over the years through the release of radiosonde balloons that Sean was discussing, and also from our government commercial weather data sources. We're now able to predict the capsule landing location to about a half square mile, and this is over a 25+ square mile landing area. That is very, very accurate. The winds, of course, pose an issue for the capsule in terms of where it will end up landing, but it's also a huge factor in the booster landing performance. A lot of times we see wind shears during the final descent of the booster that cause it to have to readjust its position just prior to touchdown. So we're looking very closely at the winds at the lower altitudes to make sure the booster can accommodate those changes.
The best part of working at Blue is having the opportunity to be a part of something special. And just watching these amazing people put this whole sequence together and get a rocket off the ground, it makes me really excited to be a part of it.
My favorite part of working at Blue is the opportunity to work on something that is far greater than myself, that will last generations, and really making an impact on the history and future of human spaceflight.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into making these weather calls. Every time I see that video, I'm reminded about all the complexity that the team has to be able to track as they're looking for all the right weather conditions for flight. So,
yeah, and it's not necessarily just what you see, you know, from the ground. There's a whole layer of atmosphere that we have to go and make sure is good for New Shepard. You know, we rely on that to make sure that we have a safe launch and land for the booster and capsule. So lots of work that goes into predicting weather and assessing weather on launch day.
Now I can say from the camera side, like we have these long-range cameras that are sitting on the ground ready to point up at the rocket and watch it in flight. Once it does pass through a cloud layer, we have, you know, infrared cameras to be able to kind of look through that. And that's why if you've watched these broadcasts before, that's probably what you might remember noticing is sort of these funny colored views that are infrared cameras that are picking up heat signatures from the vehicle that are on the other side of the clouds. So that's possible too, but it's always nice to be able to fly on a completely clear day. You just don't always get that. So we're hearing from Mission Control. They're still waiting for these conditions there's a potential window. They're holding it open for this window. So stand by, bear with us. I know it's never fun to wait through all these holds, but sometimes you just got to wait for the right conditions. So we're going to keep standing by here. Let's toss it back to New Shepard as we check in again with our Mission Control team. very special Team Blue members.
It's a privilege to work at a company that makes quality rocket engines. Using a combination of CNC and laser cutters, I produce and install parts on our engine nozzles. I love what I do, and I'm honored to be a part of something so historic and unique, especially when I see that engine light up. I'm excited to wake up every morning, knowing that the work I do every day will lead to millions of people living and working in space. I'm Darren 3, a welder and laser operator at Blue Origin, and together we are building a road to space for the benefit of Earth.
Yeah, Darren's work at Blue is a great example of how he supports our important company mission, and I can tell just from the footage there, he's doing that from the Huntsville location where we manufacture. It's our high-rate manufacturing for our engines, our factory there, and that factory did such amazing work last year as we kind of ramped up production on readiness for NG1, as well as supporting the ULA's Vulcan flights as well. You know, Blue's a place where we have big ambitions, and to meet all that ambition, we're continuing to grow as a company. We have positions open across our manufacturing sites, including Cape Canaveral, West Texas, the Seattle area, and Huntsville, Alabama. So, of course, we want to remind you that if you want to consider joining our mission, one of those very unique special people across so many of the verticals and so many locations
it's
here
a
at the company,
privilege to
so
work
please
at
do
a
us a
company
favor.
that makes quality
Check out
rocket
those job
engines.
listings online at blueorigin.com/.
Using a combination
careers.
of CNC and laser
Career
cutters,
in
I
aerospace,
produce and
working
install
right
parts on our
alongside
engine nozzles.
all of us here at Blue to
I
build a road
love
to
what I
space
do,
for the benefit of Earth,
and I'm
that career
honored to
can
be a part
closer
of something
than
so
you think.
historic and unique, especially when I see that engine light up. I'm excited to wake up every morning, knowing that the work I do every day will lead to millions of people living and working in space. I'm Darren 3, a welder and laser operator at Blue Origin, and together we are building a road to space for the benefit of Earth.
Yeah, Darren's work at Blue is a great example of how he supports our important company mission, and I can tell just from the footage there, he's doing that from the Huntsville location where we manufacture.